Good morning, brothers and sisters, um, all over the world, and of course, especially there in Tallinn. My name is Emmanuel Emeh. I serve as teacher in the Lagos Church in Nigeria, and I'm also currently the chairman of the Africa Teachers Group. This morning, I believe it's a beautiful morning over there in Tallinn. It's definitely a beautiful time here in Lagos, Nigeria. Unfortunately, I can't be there with you guys in Tallinn, but thank God for the power of the internet and of course, technology that we can do this across the world. Today I'm really excited that my dear brother and friend and partner in the gospel, Paul Smith, we are given this incredible privilege to come and share with all of you our story, even as we look at the bigger theme, teaching ministries are part of God's plan for building up the church. And here is our story from the African continent. Our story will definitely not be complete if we fail to acknowledge the incredible investment that have been made on us over the past few decades here on the continent of Africa. We have had several brothers come all the way from the United States and also other parts of the world to come and inspire us and teach us and give us this vision, for teaching ministry on the continent of Africa. Building up the church with the African story that we have, to share today is just the story of what we have experienced in the past few years, 3 years that we began serving as teachers in Africa. Of course, we our focus is on the humility, the unity, and the team functionality, that we have come to enjoy in the Africa teachers group, and we are very grateful for all that God has done. We have 15 teachers in Africa. Africa is a huge continent, and sub-Saharan Africa is divided in our church into East Africa, West Africa, and West Africa subdivided into two. We have the Anglophone West Africa, and of course the Francophone West Africa. Then we have in the middle the Central Africa, and at the base the Southern Africa. It's a huge continent of over 1.4 billion people, over 54 countries and counting, and just a dynamic, youth-based, society. So we began what we call the Africa Jazz Group just almost 2 years ago, and after the last appointments and in Southern Africa, so we got together and it was very organic. We just thought, hey, let's get together, let's get to know one another. We're on the same continent, let's get to share. And of course, because of the lockdown, we had Zoom to thank. So we began meeting regularly, and as we met, it became obvious that something great was happening. So we decided to couch, a terms of reference, because when you come together, you have to know why you're coming together. So our brother, I believe, was Solomon. It helped us to couch that terms of reference, and it began to now define what we're going to do. So let me just quickly introduce you all to our team. On the West Coast and Central Africa, we have three brothers from Nigeria, two from Ivory Coast, and one from Congo, Kinshasa. And that's our dear brother Moses Kalala. And on the East Coast and Southern Africa, we have four brothers from Nairobi, Kenya, representing the Eastern African side, and we have five incredible brothers from the Southern Africa. As you can see, we have a very diverse group. That's one of the miracles. Our unity is based actually not on conformity, but on our diversity, and it's incredible. I mean, amongst us, we have people ranging from the baby boomers to Generation X and to the millennials. So you can see how widespread that we are. And believe it, also amongst us, we speak over 12 languages: Kiswahili, Hindi, German, Russian, French, English, Yoruba, Igbo, and it's an incredible group that we have. And we also have different personalities, of different. I mean, all as they come, we have all these personalities and a wide spectrum of professional background. We have people who have their background in pure sciences, who are research specialists. We have people who are in social sciences. We have computer, analysts. We have engineers. We have what do you call it? We have several architects, artists, and even a former professional, full time preacher, full-time preacher in the denominational world, going around Africa, having crusades. But right now he became a disciple. And of course, you can see our colors are various. We have from all shades and sizes. We are from different tribes and ethnicity. Tribe is huge thing in Africa. And we have all this broad spectrum of tribe and ethnicity. We have various expertise and focus of the teachers. Some teachers are focusing on history, some are focusing on apologetics, some are doing family and marriage, some are doing all sorts. So it's just a wonderful thing that God has blessed us with. And amongst us, we have 8 of us are hired and paid by the church. We are all full-time disciples. 8 of us are hired and paid by the church, while 7 are tent makers. So it kind of brings a very interesting dynamic. So people are not doing it for money, they're doing it because they love God. And we can always call each other higher towards God. When we got together, we decided to say, okay, well, what are various individuals bringing in, and we said, okay, well, let's put together professional profile for all the teachers. That was the first project that we did. After we've formed and stormed, and we began to say, okay, let's see. And from that profile, it's amazing. What everybody is bringing in. It was very eye opening. So I encourage you. You need to know your team. Even as we work together, we need to know our team. And one of the exciting things I find very encouraging amongst all of us, and more than half of us, we are converted from the campus ministry. That's very exciting, from us. So the next step is to navigate. We have to navigate the natural process of forming, storming, norming, and performing. So if you know team dynamic, we have to go through that. It's a huge temptation when we come together and want to start doing things. Avoid that temptation. We need to, have the ground rules set, get to know one another, get to know what people are bringing in. So that gave back to the ATG, the Africa Teachers Group. And from the ATG, we began to couch our terms of reference. And from our terms of reference, we began to appoint, regional heads, regional chairmen from every block in Africa: East Africa, Southern Africa, Central Africa, West English, and West French. So from those 5 brothers, we brought them together, and those are the brothers who now form the Africa Teachers Service Team, what we call the ATST, and this is like the working arm of the entire group. So we have several meetings. We have the ATST meetings, and we have the ATG meeting. And for every meeting that we have held, there's always jotting down of the minutes. We have some good scribes, who write down the minutes of every meeting, that we hold. And any subsequent meeting, we have to read the minutes and to keep ourselves abreast of things that we say we're going to do and hold ourselves accountable. Of course, from there, we began to do some cross-border speaking invitation. And that really helped our unity. At the point, I've had all my people in my ministry, all members of my ministry, collaborate to have a joint Sunday service with brothers in East Africa. We've had people, come and speak, virtually, obviously, to us here. And I probably have hosted almost every teacher in Africa has come to speak in my ministry. I've gone to also speak in Central Africa, East Africa, taught the book of Revelation. We have brothers here also who are doing, and it's just pulling us together, and it's just incredible, what God has been doing. And of course, we now came up with these 3 joint projects. I'm going to be talking about one most especially. The first one I've discussed is the teacher's profile that showcase what each person was bringing to the table. The second one, in my opinion, was the most important project that we did, and that's the orientation, the teacher's orientation. And before we now publish our diary, teacher's orientation was facilitated by our dear brother, friend, mentor, Professor Kinad, and we got together 7 incredible topics. I mean, this seminar was stretched. We probably took more than 5 hours. We were there for more than 5 hours, and we looked at various topics like the life and doctrine, the spiritual life of the teacher, and of course the pitfalls that teachers will have. We don't just want to be teachers who are recognized and we have these peaks on our shoulders, but we want to look at our life. The most important thing, for us, our life is always important. From there, we look at the need for teachers to teach. In fact, from there we adopted this slogan: teachers teach. We don't want to be teachers who are just boardroom teachers, but we want to be teachers who are engaged, teaching publicly and and privately also. They will look at taking a stand. What happens when a teacher goes rogue? What do we do? Sometimes we imagine that it will never happen, but it can happen. How do we prepare ourselves? How do we take a stand? And of course, look at different gifts. We're all coming in as teachers. We are bringing all kinds of things in. My strength might not be somebody's strength. Somebody's strength might not be my strength. But how do we harness all this great potential that God has given to us? And of course, from there, we talked about adding to our faith. Continuous education is something that we all committed ourselves to, that we're going to continue to grow in continuous education. We cannot stop learning. And of course, we talked about publishing, writing. How do we do peer review? And Dr. Kennard helped us out a lot in that. So by the end of 1 year, we looked at what we have done, and we said, let's document how far we have gone. And it was incredible. And that gave back to over 80 pages, an 80-page document, or a magazine style diary, that showcased the activity of not just individual teachers on the continent, but of course for all of us as a group. We began noticing incredible things they are doing. The School of Mission in Abidjan, the School of Mission in Central Africa, the School of Mission is in Southern Africa, the School of Mission in West Africa. People were doing MTA programs. We looked at one time one of our teachers had to travel to go spend 3 months to go be with a church that was going through some doctrinal issues, and it was very heartwarming to just see what God has done. So documenting our successes and our experiences is very, very key, so that we can always go back and see how much God has blessed us. And for those who are interested in taking a look at this magazine, it's there on Disciples today. There's a link to give you the e-copy, electronic copy of that magazine. So it's very colorful in African style, and we are truly grateful. Now, before I go, I want to share about some healthy collaborations that we also enjoy in our group. We had to initiate this tripartite leadership workshop that hopefully is going to be happening before the end of this year, where we believe that we need to work closely with elders, evangelists, and teachers. Is very, very important. We also set up an academic review committee headed by our dear brother Raj. So that as we write papers, we send to Raj. Raj is our tech guru, and he knows his stuff. And Raj is going to help us to put it. Then we now began to do our peer review. Then we didn't want to be teachers who just have a ceiling. We wanted to continue to grow the number of teachers. So we initiated a grooming exercise for potential teachers all across the region. And in East Africa, we have it happening. In West Africa here, our dear brother Gilbert Kime is doing a great job. They're pulling young, vibrant brothers from all parts of Africa, really, and getting together with them. I think bi-weekly or so, they get together on Saturday morning. They share the scriptures. That is so encouraging. And of course, we began to look at our schools of mission that we have, and MTA. We began to collaborate, bring people to come and teach in our School of Mission. We also are invited to go teach School of Mission. What that has done is to expose the students and young interns to the best that we have in the continent. One of the very important collaboration work that we've been able to do is just to look at rescue mission. Like I shared, one brother had to go spend 3 months, one of teachers, in a church that was going through some real intense stuff. I'm not going to go into detail because they are very sensitive. We had 2 situations here in West Africa, both French and English, and we had a situation also in Southern Africa, and we had to rally together. We looked at papers that individuals have written, and groups. We looked at how to best handle this thing, because the world is a global village. If you don't take care of something happening at one point, soon it might be your own time. Finally, we decided to look at tackling some key issues that we all believe that we all share in common on the continent of Africa. We came up with 4 topics And we divided ourselves into 4 groups, and each group is to go study out and write up a paper. And God willing, the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to start having the first drafts of that paper. Already there is already communicate going around, and there is a lot of inputs being sought across the continent. The first one is on marriage, divorce, and remarriage. It's something that is staring us in the face all over Africa at this time. What do we do? How do we approach this? The second one is the role of women. Africa is a huge continent. Some countries are very leading at their society. Women have very incredible responsibilities there. Some and also how do we merge this thing? The perspectives in light of the scriptures. Another group that we formed, which I'm part of, is a group that is looking at the African question. So much question about angels, demons, witchcraft, divination, ancestral curses. These are major things in Africa. So rather than just tackling them locally, we are bringing all our expertise together, and it's been incredible. We have brothers from all across Africa being in one thing, and it actually has been able to help our unity and everything. Finally, we're looking at how the church can remain relevant in every corner of Africa. Even as we grow, as we baptize young disciples, we want to continue to be a movement. We want to continue to be able to reach the next generation. So that's why we have another group that's working on this Christ and culture kind of paper, and that paper will be ready very soon. So it's been great. This is what I want to leave with us before I invite my dear brother, Paul. There are some lessons for church building teachers that I feel that we might want to learn. Number one, we need to strive for unity. And if you notice, everything that I've been sharing has been based on unity, not conformity. A lot of time in our DNA, we kind of treat people who are not like us. We treat them differently. We treat them in an awkward way. But we need to look for biblical unity. Number two is to commit to continuous spiritual and academic growth. As teachers, we are committed ourselves that we are going to grow. Some of us have already had PhDs, in secular this thing. But in terms of the Bible, many of us have taken master's degree courses. Some of us have finished. I have finished. For example, I'm working on my PhD at this time on biblical Christian apologetics, and we have other brothers who are doing so much. Some of them have taken liking to the biblical languages. So we need to encourage this. We need to teach publicly and privately. Teachers must be committed to teaching. It's very important. If you're going to become teachers who are also part of church building, we need to recognize the work and work closely with the tripartite group that we have, the evangelists and elders. We don't want a repeat of our DNA where people will think teachers only work on the fringes and they are not at the center. Amongst us, all of us here in the Africa Teachers Group, we all lead Bible discussion. We are involved in discipling people. Many of us are regional leaders, block leaders, big church leaders, zone leaders, special ministry leaders. So we are not just in the academics. We are also part of church building. So when we speak, we're not speaking as somebody who is just an observer, looking to tell people who are doing things what they are not doing right, but we are also parts. We are in the trenches, and we are helping build the church. So we don't be relegated as a teacher to just firefighting. In our DNA, it just seems like teachers have been relegated just firefighting, go quench that fire, go quench that fire. But we have to also be part of church in building. Many of us, before we are teachers, we are first evangelists, and so we know the nitty-gritty of ministry. I would like to encourage that will be active in church building at various levels, like I've shared. Be involved in church building at various levels. We need to be able to respond, be responsible, knowing that our role is the only one that God says we are going to be judged more than any other person. So we have to be strong and courageous. We're not there, to just rubber stamp things. We have to make sure that if we see, something wrong, we speak up. And of course, we can't be territorial. Let's learn to to spread our wings. Let's go and see what people are doing. Just like we are learning here, and I'm sure all of you are doing there all over the world, so that we can know where we are wrong. Where we need to work hard. Things that that we need to learn. Finally, never forget to call each other higher. To life and faith. We cannot be the teachers if we're not calling each other to life and faith. We call each other higher in our family life, in our parenting, in loving our wives, in everything, so that we're not just teachers, just like Romans says, those who teach must also teach themselves. That's as far as I'm going to go at this time. And I'm going to ask my brother and dear friend and colleague, Paul Smith, to take us in the second half. And I believe Paul will be ready to answer all your questions. Let's have a great, conference from us here in Africa, from Lagos, Nigeria. And on behalf of all the other 14 teachers, we say a very big thank you for pulling us in. God bless you all. Bye.